The Hunterian is committed to becoming a more ethical institution that critically reflects on the past, is relevant in the present, and contributes to a more equitable future for all. How can we become what we are committing to?
As part of this work, Curating Discomfort puts forward discomforting provocations and interventions to help us to think critically about colonial systems, such as the British Empire. Systems that used ideologies to justify the enslavement and colonisation of peoples and lands around the world. Museums developed within this context, and they remain spaces that celebrate and memorialise colonial systems of the past in the present. Collections, displays and labels are a political act that have legacies rooted in colonialism. We want to address this.
I was quite taken aback by this was just a small selection of what the Hunterian sort of possesses, and also it had me thinking about how the Hunterian got its collection and how a lot of that information isn't actually necessarily known to some of the creators that we met.
And what was really beautiful was that the fact that my voice was able to come through in relation to the objects that I look at and how it is that I interpret it when I look at it and how it is that I feel about it.
It was a context that was made for us to speak without questions to be answered, without clarifying certain points. It was just about speaking and being listened to. And it was very liberating to be able to speak that way.
It was beyond my expectations. It was far away from dehumanizing. It was actually very human and very much about connection and compassion and understanding. I do this when it comes to not just race and ethnicity, when it comes to gender, sexuality, all the other intersections that we have within us. And I was ready. I felt I have this energy and I have this capacity to share my knowledge and share my ideas. I just needed a safe space and a supportive space to let it out.
The legacies of colonialism and imperial conquest are embodied in certain kinds of objects.
Most of the time I've been telling very straightforward, I would say, factual stories about describing a species or some aspect of biodiversity or ecology. But telling the stories, bringing in the human angle, bringing in the exploitation angle has been a big step for me, a big change for me. It's sort of broadening more into humanity side of things rather than sort of the science side of things.
We heard a lot about white fragility and the accommodation of white fragility and the labour and work that goes into absorbing and deflecting and encountering those. And that was quite humbling to see how the space of the museum can be one that's hard work.
I want Curating Discomfort to mark a profound change in how my colleagues and I work. I want it to mean something, and we need to keep interrogating the past and listen to other perspectives and opinions, because it's good to be uncomfortable, and it's important to be uncomfortable.
I think it really offers a blueprint on how to start to engage meaningfully with these conversations about how we can think about dismantling white supremacy in our institutions, how we can start to meaningfully engage with Black and minority ethnic communities, and how we can meaningfully engage with issues of slavery, issues of colonialism and imperialism. Within the Hunterian itself, I really hope the legacy of it is that some of the work we've been involved in, that blueprint we put together, all the meetings we've been a part of really is kept to heart by a lot of the creators and really impacts the way they work with communities moving forward, and it isn't something that is just tossed aside, that it really impacts the Hunterian structures moving forward and becomes a big part of their work in the future too.
Museums play an important and highly symbolic role in representing both the past and the present. The way they do this has never been neutral. Many voices are absent or underrepresented. Through critical assessment of our collections and displays in meaningful partnerships, opening up to wider perspectives, we are thinking in public and sharing power. Sustainable change can be uncomfortable and takes time. We need to lean into this discomfort and connect our collections and expertise with the experiences and perspectives of all our communities and audiences.